What are we revealing? Don't say that. It makes me nervous. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot off. Farts. Hey, why aren't koalas considered bears? Because they're marsupials. Because they're marsupials. No, it's because they don't have the right qualification. Lexie Hull finally broke her silence about all the new faces joining the Indiana Fever, and she did not hold back. This team has been completely reshaped, and while fans are thrilled, you have to wonder, how do the returning players feel about all of this? Because let's be real, when you bring in major signings like Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, Dawana Bonner, and Sydney Colson, it changes everything. Now, we know the Indiana Fever has got quite a few starting with none other than Sophie Cunningham, then we got Natasha Howard, then they got Dawana Bonner, then they got Sydney Colson, and who else could come for a player like Hull, who's been part of the Fever through their struggles and rebuild? This isn't just another offseason, it's a complete turning point for the franchise. It's not just about adding talent, it's about shifting the entire identity of the team. And when Hull finally spoke about it, she gave us a glimpse into what it's really like inside the Fever locker room right now. I mean, I'm looking one game at a time, so we're starting it off with Ryan, and it's going to be a fun one. I mean, we battle during this W season, and she's an incredible player, an incredible one-on-one player. So I've got my hands full, but I'm really excited about it, and excited to get out there. We're just so excited, or Hull said in an interview. I mean, it's still taking some time to sink in just how different things look. Every season things change, but this year feels huge. You guys got some new additions. What was it like hearing the news? I'm so excited for the Fever to come. So yeah, what is it like for you guys and for the squad looking ahead? I mean, I think we're just so excited. And I mean, it's still I'm still getting used to this heading into my 4th year. Every single season, every team, it looks so different with just the changes across the league and free agency and trades. And I mean, it's like hard to keep it all straight, but finally like getting to our final roster and seeing what that's going to look like. I'm just excited about the leadership that's coming in and the experience that's coming in. And that's all the way from the top of our coaches, all the way down to people we got. You can tell from the way she speaks that there's a mix of excitement and adjustment. When you've been with a team for a while, you get used to playing alongside the same teammates, knowing their tendencies, building chemistry. But now Hull is stepping into a completely different environment. And this isn't just some random roster shakeup. This is Indiana going all in on building a contender. For years, the Fever were seen as a struggling team, constantly searching for direction. Then Caitlin Clark happened, and now Indiana is suddenly one of the most exciting teams in the WNBA. That's not an easy adjustment for players who have been around during the tough times. Think about it, Hull has been here when Indiana was losing games, when they were being written off, when they were just trying to compete, and now all of a sudden the expectations are different. It's no longer about just improving, it's about winning, and that kind of shift brings pressure. Hull knows that with so many new signings, she has to prove herself all over again. That's the nature of the WNBA. You might have been an important player last year, but when new talent arrives, you have to show why you still belong in the rotation, and she's ready for it. But the most interesting part, she's not just embracing the challenge, she's welcoming it. I think the leadership that's coming in is going to make a huge difference. Hull said the experience, the championship mentality, it's what we need. She's talking about players like Dawana Bonner, who has won 2 WNBA championships and has 87 playoff games under her belt. That's experience that no one else on the Fever roster has had before. Then you add in Natasha Howard, a former WNBA champion with all-star credentials, and suddenly this team isn't just young and exciting, they have proven winners in the locker room. And Hull knows how much that matters, because when you've been part of a rebuilding team, you know how frustrating it is to just keep losing. You know what it feels like to work hard, to give everything on the court, and still come up short. Now she has teammates who know how to get it done, and the Fever aren't just adding players, they're adding players who want to be here. That's what makes this different. This isn't just some team throwing together a roster and hoping for the best. This is a team carefully selecting the right players, the right personalities, the right energy. And speaking of personality, let's talk about Sydney Colson officially joining the Fever, because if there's one player who can bring leadership experience and pure entertainment, it's Sydney Colson. Colson isn't just a veteran guard, she's a locker room presence. She's one of those players who doesn't always get the headlines, but makes a massive impact on the culture of a team. If you followed her during her time with the Las Vegas Aces, you already know what she brings. She's got that fire, that energy, that attitude that every good team needs. And let's not forget, she's a champion. She was part of the 2022 Las Vegas Aces team that dominated the league. She's been in those high-pressure moments. She knows what it takes to win when it matters most. That's why the Fever wasted no time in making the signing official. Amber Cox, the Fever's general manager, made it clear that they wanted Colson for a reason. Sydney is a proven veteran in our league. Cox said, "She brings a championship pedigree to the Fever, adding depth to our point guard position. That's the key, point guard depth." With Caitlin Clark running the show, the Fever needed a reliable veteran behind her, someone who can step in, run the offense, and bring that defensive intensity. Coulson is perfect for that role. And let's be real, her impact goes beyond the stat sheet. She's the kind of player who brings energy every single day, whether it's in practice, on the bench, or in the locker room. She's keeping everyone engaged and locked in. That's so important when you're trying to build a winning culture. And here's the part that's really interesting. Coulson joining the Fever isn't just about basketball, it's about what Indiana is becoming. Because let's be honest, before Caitlin Clark arrived, would Sydney Coulson have signed here? Would DeWanna Bonner have left her fiancé to play in Indiana? Would Sophie Cunningham and Natasha Howard have jumped on board? Probably not. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. This is what happens when a generational talent lands in your city. Players want to be part of it. They want to be part of something special. And that's exactly what the Fever are building right now. But with all of these additions, the pressure is officially on, because now there are no excuses. Last season, the Fever were young. They were learning, they were growing. Now they have veterans, leadership, and experience. This is not a team that's going to be happy with just making the playoffs. This is a team that's thinking bigger, but that also means that players like Lexie Hull have to step up. Thank you so much. Subscribe my channel.